Today I'm going to show you how to make some delicious green pork tamales. We're going to take every single opportunity to deepen those flavors and target the right texture because that's what makes an amazing tamal, so moist and soft. Start with 4 pounds of pork shoulder, and we're going to keep that bone because it's really going to add an extra layer of flavor to the broth. Cut the bone out and the meat into large pieces. This cut is ideal for slow or pressure cooking because it is very inexpensive and turns out super tender, a win-win situation. Generously season all sides with the salt and black pepper, including that bone. Use the meat to pick up some of that seasoning that didn't stick to it. To brown and cook the meat, I'm going to be using the Instant Pot. I'll leave you the link to it down in the description area, but this right here is going to cut our cooking time in half, which I'm all for. Set it on high saute mode. I'll do 20 minutes. You can always add more time if you run out. Press start. Once hot, pour in a couple of tablespoons of avocado oil and brown the meat. Don't overcrowd the pot, be patient, and do it in batches. Browning is a simple step, but so worth it. It adds another layer of flavor to that broth. Why not take advantage of the situation? Press cancel, place all of the pork back into the pot, including that bone. Pour in 10 cups of water and 1 head of garlic, but first, slice that end off. Now 1 whole onion, 3 bay leaves, and half a bunch of cilantro. Cover, secure the lid, and cook on high pressure for 45 minutes with a 10-minute natural pressure release. After the natural pressure release is done, quick release the remaining pressure. Press cancel and remove the lid. Carefully remove all of the meat because it is very tender. Oh, so delicious. I think I can eat this pork on its own. Remove the onion, the garlic, the herbs. That way we can strain the broth. Now allow that broth to cool down. Remove all of that meat from the bone and shred it. For our sauce, we're going to be roasting all of those ingredients, starting with 4 poblano peppers, 2 jalapeños. I do have the heat set to medium. You can go up to medium-high. Just turn them as needed so they can blister and char on all sides. Allow those peppers to do their thing. They're looking pretty comfortable in that comal. I'm just gonna set this aside and let's sort through the husks. Pick medium to large in size without holes or many dark spots. And we do need about 26 of them, plus 10 additional ones that don't have to be that perfect. They can be the smaller type of leaf. Then soak them in warm water for 20 to 30 minutes, and you can place a plate on top just to keep them submerged. As soon as those peppers are ready, transfer them into a bowl, cover it with plastic wrap, and allow them to sweat. It's gonna take about 5 to 10 minutes. Meanwhile, also roast 1 pound of tomatillos, half a white onion, and 6 unpeeled garlic cloves. Turn them as needed so you can get that nice color all around and everything cooks through. Some ingredients will be ready sooner than others, so just remove them as needed. Now we're just gonna let them cool down. Back to the husk, rinse them, remove any corn silk, and make sure you drain all of that water. Now peel the skin from those peppers. And I am wearing kitchen gloves because these are mild in heat, but you can get the occasional spicy one. And see how easy it is to peel? Now cut them open and remove the seeds as well as the stem. Removing the seeds is very optional because they do encourage a spicier sauce, but it's a very personal choice. Here at home, we love spicy food, but age is catching up with us and we have to tone it down. That's just life. Transfer all of the peppers right into a blender. Along with the tomatillos, onion, and garlic, remove the stem from the onion and the peel from the garlic. Now really quickly, over medium heat, I'm gonna toast 4 cloves, half a teaspoon of whole allspice, and half a teaspoon of cumin seeds. We just wanna be able to awaken those flavors, and you're gonna know because they're gonna start to release their beautiful fragrance. This took about a minute. They're ready. Just add them into a blender. Finally, 1 teaspoon of Mexican dry oregano and 3 cups of that warm broth we set on the side. Cover and blend until this is completely smooth. All right, we forgot half a bunch of cilantro, so I'm just stopping this blending process. And there it goes. Reserve 2 cups of the sauce for later on. Over medium heat, add a couple of tablespoons of oil, and once hot, carefully pour in that green sauce. Stir it in, then bring it up to a gentle simmer and allow it to cook for about 10 to 15 minutes or until slightly thickened. Remember, this is a filling. We don't want it to be runny. Stir in salt to taste, then add all of that shredded pork and make sure it is well combined with the sauce. Turn off the heat and set it aside to cool down completely. Time to make that masa for the tamales. I have 6 cups of masa harina. It is the same kind that I use to make tortillas, makes it much easier. And they turn out really nice and soft. Sprinkle in 1 tablespoon of baking powder and 2.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. Mix that in by hand until well combined. In a larger bowl, add in half a cup of pork lard. Beat the lard with a whisk, or you could even do this by hand until smooth and fluffy. This process takes about 2 to 5 minutes depending on the method that you're using, and remember, it is all in the whisk. Mix in 1 cup of avocado oil gradually as you continue to whisk. I like to use a combination of fats because it gives me a really well-balanced flavor and nothing overpowers. Mix in half of the masa. Once that's fully incorporated, add the remainder. Continue to mix until it resembles the texture of kind of like wet sand. I am wearing kitchen gloves because this next step involves mixing in the 2 cups we reserved of that green sauce, and we want to protect those hands just in case that sauce turned out spicy. You can always taste it beforehand to make an informed decision. Now gradually add the broth and knead in between additions to fully incorporate it. Stop adding it once it forms a mass, feels very soft, but still holds its shape and is fully moistened. I could take more or less of the broth depending on the temperature in the environment and broth itself. The end result should feel way too soft to make a tortilla. We are pushing for a lot of moisture, but it needs to hold its shape. See how I can mold it into a disc without sticking to my hands? I ended up using about 2 cups of that still nice and warm pork broth. Continue kneading for 5 minutes. Let's not forget that stamp of approval from my mother. Just take your fist, stamp it in there, and it should come out nice and glossy. And just cover it with a napkin to prevent it from drying out. By the way, this one is made by my aunt. She's very artistic, completely handmade. Take a look at that. All of the components are ready to go. Let's make some tamales. Grab a husk, shake some of the excess water off using the smooth side of the leaf, lay it on a flat surface. Now grab some of the dough, form it into a ball, then flatten into a disc. Place it on the center of the husk and spread in all directions. Leave space on both sides of the leaf and bottom widen. Stop a little over midway towards the narrow top. Add a good amount of that filling right in the center. Be as generous as you can because you do want to be able to close that tamal. And if you don't have enough filling in there, you're going to get complaints for sure. Fold one end over the opposite side and gently press to secure it. Peel the husk away. Fold over the opposite side and lightly press. Tuck the husk, roll towards the opposite direction. Wrapping the tamal, feel where the masa ends at the top and fold downward. Lightly press the bottom. Assemble the rest of the tamales by following the same steps. Arrange on a sheet pan in an angle, open side up. We made 25 beautiful tamales. I have my large steamer pot ready to go with its base at the bottom. Pour in a generous amount of water and stop right before you reach the rack. I added about 10 cups. Cover the surface of the rack with additional husks, then make a base with 3 tamales in the form of a T, open side towards the center. Now arrange the tamales all around, open side up. Place a few leaves on top to cover them. Now bring it up to a boil over medium-high heat. It's now boiling, lower the heat to medium-low. Cover. Allow it to cook for about 50 minutes to 1 hour and 10 minutes or until the masa is fully cooked. The these are done. Remove a tamal from the pot and let it cool for 5 to 10 minutes. Then unwrap it. They are done if it releases easily from the husk, sets up, and does not taste like brown masa. All right, I'm from Michoacan, Mexico, and we pair tamales with a hot, sweet beverage. It is so good. It's the perfect
accompaniments.
Yes. I lost it there. Thank you.
This was such a great idea.
So we're doing hot chocolate. You can do champurrado or even atole.
By the way, we have a recipe for champurrado.
We do. I'm gonna link it down below. I love tamales. Let's do this.
Let's try these bad boys out.
Brings back so many memories.
Santa Claus just came to town.
Right? It's so good. 'Tis the season for tamales. They're just that good. The sauce, the moisture in those tamales is so important.
Literally, these are the best wrapped presents. If you make Rosanna's tamales, you can't go wrong.
Look, we're gonna go finish this up. I love it because even that sauce is giving me so much moisture. Yes, Nelson has a whole stack of tamales over there just waiting for him.
It's only 25.
You're such a fanatic. Hey, I'm happy about that. I cook, he eats.
All right, let's show it to people.
Remember that you can find the full printable recipe on villacocina.com. Until the next one, we have tamales to eat.
Until the next one, everybody.
He's so lucky. I have to carb count. All good.